Hey everybody, this is your girl Cherrie Garden, and I am the creator and host of Go the Distance with Cherrie Garden.
Yo, this is Gideon P. Sarah, the Outlaw Filmmakers. I'm the director and executive producer of Go the Distance with Cherrie Garden.
I was really impacted by a particular suicide that occurred of someone that was very close to me in my life, and I felt like there's other people out there that are hurting, and how was I able to get through it, and how are other people able to get through their trauma, their pain, their crazy situations that, and I'm not just talking about some like small stuff, I'm talking about people that have just really, their mind was blown, they can't believe this happened to them, and just what were their methods, techniques, and just kind of sharing like a forum, to help other people get through it. So what was it like for you? I mean, when I guess, talked to you about the project, what stood out to you the most that made you even want to jump in?
Well, I connected to the project just based off, the direction you was going with inspiring people. I feel like that's most of my, like 90% of my destiny that I'm supposed to be doing on this earth is inspiring people in some form or some fashion. I think this generation in and of itself wants to inspire people. You know what I'm saying? I feel that when I talk to young people, when I just talk to people in general in this generation, they want to give of themselves. So the hard part is finding out who to give to and what organizations to join and what projects to be a part of.
It's important to do everything you can to get your product out there. And came across this great organization called the Black Women Film Network. But it was great to be able to share about Go the Distance and what Go the Distance is doing, where it's going, what it's about. To see actors that I've worked on like other projects with, and I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, we played no games. We played zero games with advertising and promoting this show, and we absolutely grinded putting it together. I mean, we went to high schools and junior high schools, and we was promoting it as Christmas plays, and we was all downtown and Marietta, everywhere we could possibly go to talk about this show from coast to coast.
She also produces her own show and an inspirational TV series called Go the Distance with Cherrie Garden. Tonight, she delivers her dynamic, suave, and colorful Caribbean culture to the stage. As I introduce the song and present to others, Miss Cherrie Garden.
If you guys go online and type in cherriegarden.tv, there's a show that I'm hosting called Go the Distance. And the song that he just performed to really touched me in that aspect because it talks about breaking every chain.
Well, not always. 2 or 3 years ago, God had put an idea in my heart to create a show that would impact and touch people's lives when they're at their lowest.
And in the upcoming weeks, we are about to release the episode featuring none other than David Manuel. Can everybody give David that?
I think that's a real important thing to remember is when you don't know where to start, don't be afraid of making the first move, because once you do that, you'll be led to the next direction you're going to make. And a lot of times people don't make no moves because they don't feel like they got enough information or enough money or enough resources. Just go out there and do it.
I go by the phrase that my worst work that is published is better than your best work that's unpublished. The goal was to actually pitch the show, actually talk to people, get our idea out there. Yeah, it wasn't something I submitted for weeks in advance like many of the other journalists.
As we walk in like a boss, Cherrie Garden.
We just kind of slid in there.
Yeah, did we slid in there? That's a little inside joke.
What's it? the National Association of Producers and Television Executives. Let's go see what they got going on. We're gonna pitch this show.
I thought it was very interesting how, man, when I walked up through there, you didn't hardly see no black people in television. Like, you'll see black people in film, but this is TV, and TV is like the sister of film. And when we walked through there, me and maybe like, I could count them, okay? I could count them on my hand, how many black people that I saw there. Most of the people are from Europe, to be honest. That's something to really ponder on, why there are not a lot of black people in television. Eating rock, and they gave us a glass of water, and we ordered a taco, $12 a piece. I mean $6 a piece. This shit is the size of my index finger. They gave you more onions than they did taco.
Indeed, they did.
I got a plate bigger than the meal. Oh, she had to take this L.
Yeah, because I had ordered something else, but Mr. Gideon decided
Oh, she blames it on me. Is this the Adam and Eve stuff? This was some Adam and Eve stuff. How you blamed it on me? You ordered it and then you paid for it.
I said, keep the California roll.
Working with Sonia Tyler, aka Sister Cypher, Queen of the Mic, international Queen of the Mic, mind you. That was a fantastic experience. I learned so much about Saudi Arabia, what it's like being in that part of the world, an area that I would love to visit. When I first started my journey in the entertainment industry back in 2007, and I said, hey, I didn't even really know what exactly I wanted to be, but then I saw this beautiful international woman rocking it in the urban industry at the showcases on stage with her dynamic personality, and I was like, that's who I want to be like. I mean, yeah, I see Oprah Winfrey, but Oprah Winfrey, and don't get me wrong, but I needed a little more spice and sass and pizzazz, and that's what I saw in Sister Cypher. I look up to this woman so much, and I really admire how she was able to go deep and touch. Her story will be touching the lives of people who are in scenarios. And here's a few snippets that didn't make it into the episode 2. Check it out.
As a host, I got to do so many really cool things, meet so many different people. One of my favorite stories is meeting George Clinton from the Parliament Funkadelics. And I ended up being his VJ, and we went to the Essence Festival in in Louisiana. And when I tell you, that was definitely an experience out of the mothership. You know what I'm saying? And my job was basically to interview everybody, all the band members, and then outside of that, the people in the crowd. What is P-Funk? What does P-Funk mean to you? And I just met this whole culture of people that I didn't even know existed. George Clinton, cool. Yes. The rumors about him smelling bad are true. Yes, they invited me onto their bus to party. They're like, you want to come party on a bus? And I walked up and I was like, oh no, this ain't my type of party. They was partying for real.
Once again, we was going the distance on these episodes, because for every single scene every single episode there was a obstacle, and an extreme obstacle that stood to jeopardize their entire episode or the filming of the episode. So in each one of those, we got over the hump.
The range of people that we had on Go the Distance season 1 was really wide. I mean, we had people that were painters, people that were advocates, philanthropists.
and even authors. Here we have Rebecca Falco, who deals with the topic of sexual assault. Her episode was so moving. To me, it felt like a psychological thriller in and of itself, just walking through each situation, each scenario. Sometimes we don't even realize we're in situations that are developing into something that we don't want to be in. For example, relationships. Sometimes we admire someone and respect someone so much that we don't even realize that what they're doing to us is taking advantage of us, and it's wrong. We just keep sweeping it under the rug and saying, oh, this isn't happening, this isn't happening. Scenarios like that, she showed how to come out of that. But while it was going on, it was heart-wrenching. It was like, no, don't let them do that. It had me on the edge of my seat. It had me feeling, relating in scenarios that were really similar to hers.
I think more so than any other generation, this generation deals the most with depression and the feeling of loneliness. With all of this technology, people feel more divided from each other. Let me say that correctly. People feel more isolated. All right, yeah, I can get online and share my opinion, but I can't see you, and I don't know if this is the real you. And so people feel alone. And when we started listing all the people who died of depression, like Robin Williams, they'd be like, he's a comedian. Why would he? If you really watched his TV shows and watched his movies, you could see it.
The irony of the Juve Mike episode, right as we were about to release his episode, one of the people whose shows that I've watched that I had you could say, one of the people who inspired me wanting to get into television and hosting and journalism, Anthony Bourdain from Parts Unknown, passed away from suicide. Just a week or so before we released the episode with Juve Mike. And the irony of it all is that his episode deals with travel and deals with learning about other cultures. In the Caribbean and even in the Black community in general, and this might be changing a little bit, which is good, but usually we don't really talk about mental health. We don't really talk about depression. Like, I know as a Caribbean woman, my parents' solution to a lot of these things, or I should say my mother especially, is bring it to the pastor and let the pastor lay hands on you and wash away this spirit. Okay, there's that side of it, yes, but what about actually getting some counseling, getting some type of core coping mechanisms? You got to deal with the whole problem. And I always used to say to my close friends that if you don't know about the Kwame situation, then you're not my close friend, because that was such a turning point for me in my life. But I also wanted to show that Go the Distance is not about spreading gossip, or sus as we call it in the Caribbean. The word sus means gossip, about each guest. That it's not about finding the dirt and spreading a good story. I wanted to show that I am willing to be just as transparent myself personally as I'm asking my guests to be.
910, I'm Amanda Davis, originally from San Antonio, Texas, an only child, daughter of Mary Ramos Davis.
I don't know how many people have ever really interviewed her. She's interviewed so many people. She's interviewed presidents and superstars, but who really sat down and said, hey, I want to know more about you. I want to know the in-depth, intertwining, interworkings of your mind and your life, and what would you want to leave behind to people that are interested in following in your footsteps or cared about your journey. What do you want to leave behind for these people? Go the Distance episode 1 became that.
But the more stuff that you want to have on tape are the key points. And then that way when you go to do your story, I don't know if you're going to use B-roll, that may be just that you're going to do an interview session. Then you don't have so much to go through. And the thing that forces you to do is to work with what you have, as opposed to being overwhelmed by an hour or more of sound. And then you're like, but this is good, but then this is good, and then but how do I get from this to that? It cuts out a lot of that stress.
You're so right. I've been suffering from that.
Okay. I'm just trying to save you some steps.
Yeah.
Because I did learn the hard way.
It was crazy that people were actually calling me to tell me that Amanda has passed because it was just 4 weeks ago that she was on our set. We hadn't even gotten all of the pictures that we needed from her, because creating a documentary series, of course you want pictures of the person's life, experiences. We hadn't gotten all of that. We hadn't gotten all the B-roll that we wanted. This was you can't even call it a monkey wrench because nobody ever plans, a person's transition like that. But it was shocking. And then it turned that moment that we shared on set with Amanda Davis, it turned that into something, it was priceless to begin with, but now?
And I'm looking at this camera though, or do you want me to look at the...
Actually, when you're addressing the audience, this is your two-shot. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me let you
The goal of what I want to reach out to the people is tell them which...
And he may do it in small ways, and if that doesn't work, he's going to do something major to get your attention because he has a plan for you, and you need to get with it.
How do you feel when you hear these stories about the stuff that goes on in Atlanta? I know how I feel when I watch it on TV. So how do you feel when you get the news and you have to report it?
It's different now. Before, when I was in the midst of everything, the news was getting to me because every day is just reinforced. And one day you think a person has done the worst that they can do to someone else, and then somebody tops it. You have to really believe in, and this is what I learned, letting go and letting God, and letting God be at the head of your life. God is in control of all of this. I do what I need to do at work, and then I leave it there. I leave all the problems that are there. I don't take them home with me anymore because life is too short. And whether you're at that place of business or not, that business is going to keep on going. It's a machine. And you're just one small part of it.
Even I didn't realize basically how priceless this was. She was well known and still is well known in Atlanta. I mean, really in the whole TV news world. Like even when we went to Miami, people knew about her. They was like, oh, right, all right, let's check that out. Like they knew who she was when we brought her name up and could tell her stories. They wasn't just saying it just to contribute to conversation. And it taught me something that for future journalists, there are 3 times to get with a person to do an interview. And it's when they're on their rise to power, during a crisis moment, or the interview right before they die. Those are 3 priceless moments to do an interview with them. Whereas the third part is when you talk to somebody right before they die. I don't care who it is. When you get this last interview with this person, something in them makes them speak in a certain way.
I think people complicate their lives too much with stuff. And if you think about in an instant like that, it could be gone. How many people drive off from home in the morning, going off to work or school or the movies or wherever, and don't make it home at night? It happens all the time. And it truly is something to live like every moment could be your last.
And when you get that interview, you get something from them that's just a deep root of who their essence is. He told us out of our own mouth, like, I trust y'all. The interview is actually longer than this. It's like at least about 3.5 hours. Good stuff. Check this out.
We're running out of time.
No.
I talk too much. Oh my gosh.
No, it's great. I asked her who was the name of the boyfriend. Like, I really wanted to know his name. But whatever she shared, she wanted to share. And whatever she didn't want to share, she had no problem with telling us frankly and boldly. I don't want to say that.
And I needed to let it go.
You want to say her name?
No, it's okay. It's in California.
Like mentioning the names of the stations, how do you feel about that? Fox 5, CBS, is that okay? Is that not
sure.
okay?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
And there's nothing like being honest. Because you don't have to keep up with lies. You don't have to worry about somebody coming back and saying something about, well, you said such and such. Just cut out all the drama and just be honest. let people deal with it. If they can't, that's on them. It's not on you.
You want to know the funny thing? When she first walked on set, and I try to prep all of my guests about this, I said, hey, cut out at least like a 4-hour block of time for this shoot. And she was like, 4 hours? I was like, yes, I'm not saying that the cameras are going to be rolling for the whole 4 hours. I mean, we might actually only be in active interviewing for like about 2 of those hours. She was like, 2 hours? A 2-hour long interview? And I said, yes. And she said, honey. She said, I'm only going to be on this set for at half an hour to an hour max. Half an hour to an hour max. Once she got rolling. And this is what the set of Go the Distance is meant to be. It's literally meant to be a place, a safe zone, where the person can express and go deep into the experience, because it's not a superficial little 7-minute video that our society, our microwave society, our short attention span, millennial society is so used to now. No, it goes deep, and somehow the magic of the purpose of Go the Distance touches every one of these guests.
Well, we want to tell you about another tribute to our late colleague, Amanda Davis. Before her untimely death, Amanda sat down for an interview with the docu-series Going the Distance. The series focuses on individuals who have overcome challenges. The launch party for the series is tomorrow night at Hillside International Truth Center on Cascade Road, home of the Dr. Barbara King. The viewing begins at 7 p.m. Hopefully, some folks will make it out there. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Out there that this is available. If they could get the opportunity to see this, it would help them to heal. So if there's any way possible that I can help to get the word out there wherever you're going to feature that you don't know what you have done. That would help so many people.
I wanted to say thank you to all of you for putting this production together, and then you, of course, for following your heart and what was placed on your heart by God. And March is Women's History Month, and you're definitely making history.
And I mean, we just all, as a group in here, who have had the privilege to witness what we just saw, we have to do our part to try to share this with the world and to help you share this with the world. I know Gideon's going to get it out there. I know he is. But we have to do our part too. I just want to see this all over the world. I just want to see this so successful. And you just let me know what I can do to help you get this out.
So from you making that testimony on Sunday, that's what brought me here. I loved Amanda Davis, and I was sad to hear the news, but the big thing that brought me here was what you said, where to start. But you had started, and now you have this, and you just have to take that other step that may not feel like it's the right time because you feel like you're not prepared.
I'm definitely grateful that you decided to just come in on the project, and you saw the vision, you saw how it could help people, and I just really appreciate the amount of dedication. Your stomach is growling right now. That just shows your hunger.
Right.
Because even in the midst of this,
you know what I'm saying? You eat after you work. That's how you do it. Eat after you work.
Eat after you work and sleep when you die. That's what he always says.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of times the stereotype with Asians, they don't really open up. They don't talk about their families. They don't talk about bad things. Everything is very poised. So I would love to be able to go into one of the Asian countries and have someone that could really open up and be frank and candid about their life experience, because that even shares cultural differences.
It kind of puts me in the mind of a testimony service at church. When you go to testimony service, they had a whole block, a segment. I ain't been to church in a long time. Next time I come up in that mug, it's because I'm gonna be representing and doing some revolutionary things. But back to the point I was trying to make is that they used to have a segment set aside called testimony service where people would stand up and speak on whatever situation they went through a week or through their month or through their life, and how it benefited them and how the Most High was able to bring them out. And that was the whole point of testimony service, not to run your mouth, but to share your story and show how you was brought out of that. And that was supposed to give somebody else hope to speak. And it would usually go in a chain of event, like a transference, if you will. Once somebody spoke, somebody else speak, somebody else speak, and this, that, and the third, So it's kind of interesting there, because it kind of feels like that, like this little format right here.
And even though that you mentioned that, I do want to say that I wouldn't say that my show is particularly religious. I didn't mean for it to be religious. Literally, I just mean for people to share how they got through. And I feel like it's a wide spectrum of techniques, tactics, things that inspired them. It could have been religion, could have been outside of the box, just spirituality. It could have been a mentor. It could have been their mom, their dad. It could have been a book. It could have been a TV show, which I hope that becomes someone's inspiration. Literally just what saved them, what pulled them out of their low point.
Now I want somebody to tell me that weed helped them.
I'm waiting.
Like, bro, I was in this messed up situation. I wrote this fat L. I wrote this stupid L. And when I realized it, man, straight up, man, people have some great awakenings from smoking weed.
And I want to ask you, because Clairvoyant Pictures and Entertainment, you've done 2 movies so far. Yodi was a bit gory. Oh gee, both of them were gory actually, because White Folks is a bit gory as well, but I think Yodi is more gory, because I don't know if you've seen the logo for Yodi. It's literally like blood splatter in the Yodi logo, but White Folks
everywhere.
White Folks had some very interesting consequences in the con game. So it's like going from that style, the style of Gideon P. Sarah, I guess it's not necessarily goriness in general, and I know you wanted to do a zombie film coming out later too. So it's like this, I feel like, is outside of the box of what you normally would do.
And it make, I don't even think it's gonna come off like that whatsoever. I feel like people who are so in touch with themselves can go in so many different categories and so many different areas and still fit in. Me being a person who moved around all my life, I can be in a place with nothing but people who are opposite of me, and I can still get along with them and still be able to communicate with them because I'm in touch with who I am. So, we're working on some stuff with the Youth Film Festival and stuff like that. We're working with kids and stuff like that. So, I know how to be in a room full of women and still be masculine. I know how to be in a room full of kids and still be an adult.
The crucial point of Go the Distance is really helping people that are hurting, that are in a situation, having just dealt with a trauma and don't know how to move forward through it. Just being able to be touched by someone else's life and be like, oh my gosh, I see myself in that man, in that woman. I can see myself in them. How did they get out of it? Okay, there is life after XYZ. So that's really what my goal is for what this show should be doing.